Now let's look at the type of information you get with signs on Signing Savvy. So let me go ahead and search for sign. I'll search for happy. So here we have the sign itself. This happens to be the first variation of the sign. This sign happens to have two other variations, and I can click on the number 2, for example, to see the second variation of that sign, or the 3 to see the third. Or I can click on the FS, which shows the sign as being fingerspelled. Let me switch back to the first variation, and let's look at the playback controls. The first button you see is the standard play stop. So if I click it, it plays, and then when I click it again, it stops. The second button is the rewind to beginning. So no matter where the playback head is, if I click this button, it will jump the playback head to the beginning of the video. The next two buttons are the frame advance and the frame rewind. So if I click the frame advance button, you can see we move one frame at a time. And I click the frame rewind and I go back one frame at a time. I could also just click anywhere in the timeline to move the playback head to that location. Or I can click and drag. On the other side of the timeline is a bended arrow. This represents looping, and it's currently depressed. So if I go ahead and press play, you can see when it gets to the end of the timeline, it loops and plays again. If I press this, now looping is turned off, so when it gets to the end of the video, it stops. Let me turn looping back on and hit play again. The next button is the turtle, which basically means slow playback. So if I click the turtle, I'm now depressed, and you can see the video plays at a much slower rate. And once again, I can click it again to turn that off. The next button over is the full screen button. This button is only available on the large video size. If I click the full screen button, you can see I go to a full screen view of the video. If I click the button again, I return to the regular view size of the video. The last button is the print button. The print feature is explained in another video. Below the video, we have the change video size options, so we can switch between small, medium, and large. For this sign, we have the English equivalent, so the sign that we're seeing is happy. We have an example sentence, I'm very happy. We have a sign description, which explains how the sign is made. We have a memory aid, which is often a useful way of remembering the sign. Once again, we have options to switch the sign variations down below. And then we can see other English words that would use the same sign. The last option here is add to word list. If we've actually created a word list of our own, we can click on this and add it to one of our word lists. And then down below, we've got the ability to add or view user comments related to this sign.